Chapter 1 Traveling to Marvel. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In a crummy Brooklyn apartment. Get it done, this took serious effort. Xie Yun grinned at the laptop in front of him, the stuff he'd been working on. Straight up ban-worthy, see, he wasn't from around here. He died in a car wreck back in his old life and somehow ended up in the Marvel universe. In this world, the poor rely on getting powers and the rich on tech, so surviving as a regular guy is a real grind. You can't walk a block without tripping over some superpowered crime. Xie Yun, the time traveler, was stressed. He was trying everything just to stay alive. I'm no millionaire, and I'm no scientist, so tech is out. And powers? That spider hasn't even bitten anyone yet, so Osborn's a no-go. He wasn't about to go bathe in gamma radiation either. No way, the easiest way seemed like hitting up Karma Taj for some magic lessons, but how the heck was he supposed to find it? If he just stayed under the radar, maybe he could dodge the Chitauri invasion and the whole Ultron mess. Luckily, just when Xie Yun was about to lose it, his system finally booted up. The deal was, back in another universe, these terrifying creatures, even gods, were running wild. To fight them, this group called the Containment Containment Society showed up. They were on the front lines, locking these things up to protect humanity. That's why they called them contained objects. Everything was fine at first, but these objects just got stronger and stronger. Eventually, they had universe-destroying stuff that the society couldn't handle. The whole thing collapsed, and the universe went down with it. Now, those contained objects were crashing in other universes, and the Marvel universe was next in line for the same disaster. But good news. Some of these objects were actually cool with humans. One of them was Xie Yun's own personal cheat code. It had intel on all the contained objects, plus it could predict where they'd show up. The system told him to make videos about the upcoming contained objects and drop them online, so the world could prep for containing the incoming threats, and if they pulled it off. Big rewards for Xie Yun and anyone else who helped. Xie Yun stared at the system, stunned. Marvel was already a hot mess, and now this? No one was getting out alive. But whatever, he couldn't worry about that now. Rewards and survival were the name of the game. He knew this stuff backward. He was a total containment object nerd, wooden peanut that explodes if you look at it funny, the immortal yardstick for measuring combat power. Even straight-up gods like the god of machinery, the god of flesh, the king of seals, the three gods of death, any one of those things could flip the world on its head, but the fact that they were real. And that he had to deal with it. Too much. So, to brace for the Chitauri invasion, Dormammu's attack, Thanos, and a whole bunch of other stuff, Xie Yun had pulled 3 straight all-nighters to finish the video. Ding dong, the host video has been completed. Publish immediately, star. Yes, Xie Yun didn't hesitate. This was a code red situation. If the Suits and Nick Fury see this terrifying crap, I wonder what they'll do. How will the world change? Maybe it was a little twisted, but Xie Yun was already looking forward to it. Meanwhile, all over the place, things were about to get weird. Screens were popping up in front of key players. Tony Stark's mansion. Tony looked like death warmed over, squinting at the screen in confusion. Jarvis, can palladium poisoning cause hallucinations? He figured it was just his brain short-circuiting as he was about to kick the bucket. Ever since he'd gotten poisoned, he'd been trying to escape reality. His once pristine mansion was now a pigsty of empty wine bottles. Even he was a mess, sporting a serious case of 5 o'clock shadow. No, sir. This is not a hallucination. I am observing it as well. Jarvis's words startled Tony. So what exactly was this? Some kind of super advanced projection? Because he didn't have any equipment like that here. Jarvis, scan the entire house. Find the source of this projection. Tony wasn't going to take it. Even if he was dying, that didn't mean people could mess around in his house. Yes, sir. Asgard. In Asgard, they were having Thor's coronation ceremony, but this screen decided to crash the party. The Asgardians all stared at it, baffled. Loki, is this one of your new spells? Very entertaining. Are you congratulating me on becoming king? Thor, assuming it was Loki's way of saying congrats, crossed his arms and grinned at the screen. My little brother's magic tricks are getting more powerful, and he can do any tricks. No, it has nothing to do with me. Loki shook his head, playing innocent. He had no clue what was going on with this screen, and the last thing he wanted was to celebrate Thor. Odin, looking grim, jabbed at the screen with the eternal spear. The spear's power went right through it like it wasn't there, the Asgardians gasped. This was their most powerful weapon in the 9 realms. How could it do nothing? Is someone trying to invade Asgard? Heimdall, check the situation across the universe. Everyone, prepare for battle. Odin, a veteran of countless battles, barked out orders, already running through the possibilities in his head. Was it the frost giants, the dark elves, or something from the underworld causing trouble? S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters, Fury, looking like a thundercloud, glared at the screen. He was listening to reports from Natasha, Hawkeye, and Hill when it suddenly popped up, scaring him so bad he nearly pulled a trigger. As a seasoned agent, he knew this thing wasn't just some random glitch. Director, are you alright? Coulson, hearing the commotion, walked in. I'm fine. Dismissed. Fury waved him off, and Coulson left, scratching his head. He can't see it. Hill pointed at the screen, surprised. Coulson had just walked right through it. How could he miss it? Does that mean only the 4 of us can see it? Hawkeye spoke the thought they were all dreading, feeling a chill crawl down his spine. Fury, what's going on? Natasha took a deep breath, forcing herself to stay calm. Even for a hardened agent, this bizarre screen was unsettling. Just wait and see. Huh? Is that Stark's name I see? Chapter 2 Jiraiya's surprise, Sengoku's vigilance, Vegeta's disdain. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Fury saw a sentence popping up on the screen, mentioning Tony Stark's name. Tony Stark. Hey, anyone know what's up? Why are my thoughts getting turned into words and posted? Nick Fury. Stark, what are you doing here? You saw it too. Tony Stark. Yo, Egghead, you're here too. Loki, who are you? Did you conjure this screen? What are you doing to Asgard? Hawkeye, Asgard. Loki? Where'd this nutjob come from, calling himself some mythic dude? Loki, you sons of bitches. You're blaspheming me. Ancient One, well, aren't the Asgardians a piece of this puzzle, too? In the courtyard of Kamatage, magic apprentices stared at the screen, scratching their heads. What's going on? Strange, fresh off a trip from the Himalayas, eyed the screen, shivering. Was he hallucinating from the cold? Master Ancient One, is this Dormammu's doing? Mordo asked, a worried look on his face. He tried every trick in the book to scan the screen, but nothing worked. Gui, fanning herself, watched the screen intently. Doesn't feel like Dormammu. Maybe some other gods playing games, and it involves more than just us, maybe other universes, even. As someone who dealt with demons and cosmic weirdness every day, she knew something was seriously off about this screen. She'd just have to wait and see. Asgard. Even the Ancient Ones involved. Odin couldn't hide his shock at Gui's name. She was one of the few people in all 9 realms who could make him sweat. This was getting weirder by the minute. The messages kept scrolling across the screen. Uzumaki Naruto, hey, who are you guys and what's happening? Jiraiya, Naruto, pipe down until we figure this out. Naruto World, a tavern. Jiraiya grabbed Naruto by the head and slammed him onto the table. Ever since Orochimaru's attack on Konoha and the death of the 3rd Hokage, they'd been trying to convince Tsunade to take the job as 5th Hokage. And then this screen had suddenly appeared. Jiraiya and Tsunade felt like they were facing down a serious threat. They thought it might be some enemy's trick, so they were on high alert. Naruto had caught them by surprise, and Jiraiya was spooked. What if it was a trap? Tsunade-sama, is this some kind of ninjutsu? A genjutsu? Shizun asked, bewildered. Doesn't seem like either. And it looks like only we can see it. Tsunade glanced at the other patrons in the tavern, but none of them seemed to notice the screen, even though it was right there, plain as day. everyone else was oblivious, lost in their drinks and food. This strange situation had Jiraiya and Tsunade on edge. One Piece World. Thousand Sunny. This is awesome. My thoughts are turning into words. Luffy was perched on the bow, grinning as he watched the screen, babbling all sorts of things. I'm gonna be king of the pirates. Kept flashing across the screen. Hey, Luffy, knock it off. It could be a trap. Sanji quickly pinned Luffy's head down to stop him. But what kind of power is this? Never heard of it. Robin studied the screen, puzzled. It was unlike anything she'd ever encountered. It's ghosts. The spirits from the Devil's Triangle don't want us to leave, so they're showing up. Usopp screamed, shaking like a leaf, scaring Nami and Chopper, who started shrieking too. Ah! I don't want ghosts. That's so creepy. Brook threw up his hands in mock terror, his skeletal frame rattling. Are you kidding me? Frankie rolled his eyes. Everyone, quiet down. There could be enemies nearby. Zoro yelled from the crow's nest. Enough already. If something weird's going on and you don't give a warning, we'll get jumped. This is interesting. But Luffy, ever the optimist, didn't care. The more unknown something was, the more exciting it seemed. Navy headquarters. Warring States watched Luffy's comments scroll by, his face darkening. That Straw Hat Kid again. Did he do this? Sengoku roared. First he attacks Eni's lobby, then he takes down Moria, one of the warlords. Now he's mixed up in this mess. When was someone going to stop him? Could he really be behind something like this? Akainu looked skeptical, sensing something wasn't adding up. This kinda reminds me of those movie phone bugs. Could it be the Revolutionary Army declaring war on us? Kizaru drawled, sipping his tea, not taking any of this seriously. Warring States frowned, considering the possibility. He immediately checked the entire office but found no other phone bugs besides his own. Damn it. Whoever's doing this better hope I don't catch them. This kind of direct intrusion infuriated Sengoku. He clenched his fists. Ultraman Leo World. At the Mac base, everyone was out on patrol. Dan Moriboshi and Gen Otori were the only ones there. Aside from the radio chatter, it was quiet. Captain, what's this? Some kind of alien invasion announcement. Jen stared at the screen in disbelief, mistaking it for an extraterrestrial declaration. Dan, fiddling with radar and surveillance equipment, found no sign of any alien activity. He grabbed his cane and limped towards the screen, using his telekinesis to probe it, but he was shocked to discover that his telekinesis couldn't even touch the screen. What is this? But even Dan, who had seen his share of battles, couldn't help but feel a little uneasy. Dragon Ball World. Goku was speeding down Snake Way, determined to get back to Earth in time for the Scion attack. What is this thing? Why does it keep getting in my way, and why can't I get rid of it? Goku stared at the screen in confusion. Whatever. He had more important things to worry about. A wasteland. Uncle Piccolo, what's that? Gohan pointed at the screen, bewildered. I don't know. Maybe it's a trick by the Scions. Just stay on your guard. Piccolo's already green face turned even greener. It had just appeared without him noticing. What was happening? He didn't like this feeling one bit. In the space pod. Nappa, do you see anything in front of you? Nope. Why? Never mind. Vegeta glanced at the screen. He'd been asleep when it suddenly popped up, nearly causing him to smash the pod. I can't even touch it. Is this the Earthlings' idea of a welcoming committee? Vegeta scoffed, unimpressed. He'd wait and see what this thing could do. Chapter 3 Live Broadcast, Frightened Stark and Wayne. You are listening at novelfull.audio. DC World, Batman's secret base. Bruce Wayne was tinkering with his equipment, trying to understand what was happening on the screen, but he couldn't figure it out. This frustrated him and made him increasingly irritable. Batman is his most closely guarded secret, and now this screen pops up, almost mocking the difficulty of keeping secrets. He grew anxious, afraid things were spiraling out of control. In an apartment. Wonder Woman, Diana, calmly sipped her coffee, watching the screen. Is this some kind of divine prank? Zeus? Hermes? Or is it the devil? Diana was used to strange occurrences and found it fascinating. Doraemon's world. Doraemon, what gadget are you working on? Nobita, sprawled lazily on the tatami while reading a comic, glanced at the screen, assuming Doraemon was responsible. Not me. Maybe it's an ad from the future department store. Doraemon denied it and ran diagnostics on the screen, finding no connection to any of his secret gadgets. Before he could investigate further, a voice boomed from the screen. Welcome, viewers from across the multiverse, to this live broadcast room. We'll be showcasing incredible entities. The voice interrupted them, drawing everyone's attention. In this world, no, in these universes, exist countless unbelievable creatures, objects, and indescribable beings. These entities pose an incalculable threat to humanity, even to entire universes. We must contain, control, and ultimately neutralize them to ensure our safety. We classify these threats as containment objects. We contain, we control, we protect. We are the silent guardians, humanity's last line of defense. We must never falter. We must prevail. We shield humanity from the dangers it can't even imagine, allowing people to live in peace. This is the mission of our organization, the Foundation. But, alas, we failed. S.H.I.E.L.D. Nick Fury frowned. S.H.I.E.L.D. already did this, targeting aliens, superpowers, magic, anything that could harm humanity, protecting humanity in the shadows. Was this containment group doing the same thing? And they failed. Hill, document everything about these so-called containment objects. I want a dossier on my desk ASAP. Fury barked the order. The screen's voice continued. We fought hard against these objects, but in the end, they escaped to who knows which universe. Therefore, I'm releasing their information and predicting their potential arrival points. Our first subject is a weeping angel statue, codenamed Peanut. A bizarre image appeared on the screen, humanoid figure, bald, with pale skin and a grotesque face, One Piece world, Thousand Sunny. It's here. A ghost. Nami, Usopp, Chopper, and Brook huddled together, terrified. Since the screen appeared, they'd been convinced they were being haunted. This creature confirmed their fears. You're a ghost. Nami punched Brook playfully. Quiet down. Zoro, annoyed, yelled at them to be silent. But what is this, containment society? Multiverse? What's going on? Sanji, struggling to keep calm, lit another cigarette. The multiverse? I remember scholars studying that a long time ago. Robin searched her memory, but the details were hazy. Looks like a peanut. I wonder if you can eat it. Luffy grinned, studying the screen with innocent curiosity. Then, a voice began to describe the entity. The origin of the Weeping Angel statue is unknown. It's constructed from concrete and rebar, but impervious to conventional damage. It's immobile when observed, but whenever someone breaks eye contact, even for a blink, it instantly teleports behind them and snaps their neck. The screen shifted to a laboratory. The Weeping Angel statue stood motionless, watched by 3 staff members. 2 were focused on the statue, while 1 was cleaning. The watchers, seemingly inexperienced, made a critical mistake. They blinked simultaneously. In that instant, the angel vanished and reappeared behind one of them, breaking his neck, but one death wasn't enough. As long as humans are nearby and not maintaining direct eye contact, the angel teleports, snaps necks, and repeats. In 2 seconds, all 3 staff members were dead. Dong dong dong. The next moment, armed personnel stormed into the room, guns raised, targeting the statue. The angel, now under constant observation, remained perfectly still. When alone in a room, the Weeping Angel statue emits a scraping sound, as if grinding against the walls. This is normal. Note, when entering the statue's chamber, maintain constant observation with a minimum of 2 people taking turns blinking. Before blinking, clearly signal your partner. Otherwise, you'll learn a harsh lesson. Everyone who witnessed the scene was stunned. Marvel Universe, Stark's mansion. What? You die the moment you blink? Tony jumped up, terrified. His tired eyelids twitched uncontrollably. Don't blink, that he frantically forced his eyes open, using his armored hands to pry his eyelids apart, desperately scanning the room, fearing the statue would appear behind him. He saw his messy, dimly lit mansion. It looked eerie, as if something really was lurking in the shadows. Sir, there is nothing in the mansion. Jarvis reassured him. Good, good. Tony sighed in relief, but still kept his eyes wide open, refusing to blink. DC World, Batman's base. Bruce Wayne stared at the screen in disbelief. His eyes were wide, refusing to close. Sweat stung his eyes. Ugh, forced, he blinked, then wrenched his eyes open, ignoring the discomfort, and frantically looked around. In the dark Batcave, there was nothing but advanced technology. Chapter 4. The weeping wooden sculpture appears at S.H.I.E.L.D. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sir. Bruce Wayne was about to finally relax when an old voice startled him so badly, he nearly jumped out of his skin. He snatched up a batarang and spun around to see Alfred standing there with a stake and a puzzled expression. Master Wayne, I think you're overdue for some sleep. Alfred set the stake down, sounding a little annoyed, and walked off, ignoring the screen nearby. Phew, phew, phew. Bruce Wayne finally relaxed after confirming that the Batcave was still Batcave. Why, the mighty Batman, the master of fear, had actually been spooked. It left him feeling pretty conflicted. Over in her apartment, Diana frowned, confused. She'd never heard of anything like that creature. Did it come from another dimension? At Navy headquarters, Warring States watched with a grimace. He'd never encountered a monster like that before. What is that speed? It makes shaving look like slow motion. Akainu was stunned. He couldn't even see the so-called weeping angel move. That kind of speed was practically unbeatable. Kizaru, could you manage that? Sengoku looked at Kizaru, who always bragged about being as fast as light. I can hit that speed, but I need a little time to go elemental. But this thing. It just goes. Kizaru was starting to sweat. Lucky for me, I can turn into light, or things could get real bad dealing with that weeping angel. Sakazuki, get people on this now. Find out everything we can about that monster. And see if you can trace who's behind that video. Warring States composed himself and gave the orders. Akainu took off. Damn it. The world's already crazy enough. How could something like that just pop up? Is this some new revolutionary army weapon? Warring States looked furious. Meanwhile, in the Naruto world. Whoa, Naruto blinked, staring at the screen. He couldn't even see the weeping angel move. Ah, man. I blinked. That thing isn't gonna show up, is it? He frantically looked around, relieved he didn't see it. Just a bunch of confused onlookers. Knucklehead, pipe down. Jiraiya calmed Naruto down, but he kept his eyes glued to the screen, just in case the thing decided to jump out. That speed's on par with Minato's Flying Thunder God and Shishui's body flicker technique. Jiraiya took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. He'd traveled the world and seen a lot, but he'd never heard of anything so terrifying. If the enemy got their hands on something like that, Konoha would be in big trouble. I'd say it's even better, Tsunade countered. The fourth Hokage's Flying Thunder God needs a preset marker. Shishui's body flicker needs the Sharingan. All this thing needs is for you to look away for a second. Tsunade stopped talking, the implications dawning on her. It made the fourth's and Shishui's signature move seem almost pathetic. You could get killed. The thought sent a chill down her spine. Don't get yourself worked up. If Minato faced that thing, he'd find a way to fight without blinking. Jiraiya snapped back, fiercely loyal to his student. No way would he lose to some broken statue, over in Doraemon's world. Nobita, this is too messed up. You shouldn't be watching. Doraemon covered Nobita's eyes, who immediately started to squirm. Too much violence for a kid. But Doraemon, didn't they say it shows up if you look away? Nobita was even more panicked now. It's okay, I've got this. Doraemon quickly remembered and grabbed a rebound cloak, throwing it over both of them, just in case, in the Leo world. It teleports when you blink. What is that thing? That's insane. Feng Yuan watched, eyes wide, doing her best not to blink. The stars next to her frowned. He'd never heard of this weeping angel. Was it some kind of alien creature? We need to be prepared, just in case we run into it someday. Feng Yuan needs targeted training. The stars was already brainstorming training drills, the most effective one. Chasing Feng Yuan in a jeep while she can't blink. She had to keep watching. In the Dragon Ball world, Goku was running along Snake Way, staring at the screen. What kind of monster is that? It's super fast. Could it beat a Scion? Elsewhere, inside Vegeta's Scion pod. What a joke. This is supposed to be scary. Please. Vegeta scoffed. The Weeping Angel's abilities were nothing. He could wipe it out in a second. So this is the welcome wagon Earthlings are sending? Ha! Idiots. Vegeta lost interest. Earth was in sight. The Dragon Balls were practically his. At Carmitage, in the Marvel Universe, the magic apprentices watched the screen, wide-eyed. It moves crazy fast when you blink. So scary. Oh my god. I blinked. Am I gonna die? The apprentices were terrified, doing everything they could to keep their eyes open. Don't panic. It's just a video. It can't get out. Ancient One sighed, trying to calm everyone down. Everyone seemed to relax a bit, reassured by the presence of the Sorcerer Supreme. Master Ancient One, I've never seen anything like that. Wong said, taking a deep breath. He'd read countless books, but he'd never heard of a crying stone angel. It's a creature from another universe. It's normal that you haven't heard of it. Ancient One wasn't surprised. It's impossible to know everything about the multiverse. But, a stone angel? Does that mean there are more than one of them? Ancient One muttered. Mordo, Wong, and Strange looked at each other, their eyes widening. Predict where the stone angel will appear next. The cold voice echoed again. Location, Marvel Universe, Earth, S.H.I.E.L.D. Research Institute. The scene cut to what looked like a lab. A stone angel stood in the middle of the room, at S.H.I.E.L.D. Son of A. Fury jumped to his feet, shocked. How had that monster gotten into S.H.I.E.L.D.? How had he not known about this? When did we acquire that? Fury glared at the three agents in the room. They immediately shook their heads, clueless. A barrage of comments flooded the screen. Tony Stark, S.H.I.E.L.D. You guys are behind this? What are you up to? Loki, mere mortals playing with gods. You're asking for it. Thor, Earth has impressive new technology. But it looks rather interesting. Warring States, S.H.I.E.L.D. What is that? Are they with the Revolutionary Army or those four emperors? Goku, looks kinda like Bulma's lab. Chapter 5 Destroying the Weeping Face Wooden Sculpture. Were there laser cannons in the 20th century? You are listening at novelfull.audio. One Piece World, Navy Headquarters. Sengoku stared at the photo, puzzled. He'd never heard of S.H.I.E.L.D., he immediately grabbed the phone and barked, investigate this S.H.I.E.L.D. thing, now. And keep a close eye on the Yonko and the Revolutionary Army. See if they make any moves. Kizaru drawled, calmly sipping his tea, his relaxed demeanor a stark contrast to his words. Sounds like a new player. That could be messy. Since you're so relaxed, maybe you can help with the investigation. Sengoku roared, furious at Kizaru's blatant shirking of responsibility. Leo's world. Captain, you know anything about S.H.I.E.L.D.? Feng Yuan asked, looking confused. Never heard of them. Though, I did notice some unfamiliar faces on the screen. Maybe it's a research division from a foreign Mac team. I'll check it out. Morohashiden picked up the satellite phone and contacted the overseas MAC teams, a frown creasing his brow. Logically, there wouldn't be any need to start a new organization to study aliens and new weapons. What were the foreign MAC teams up to? Were they going rogue? Still, if these creatures were actually real, he'd need to get out the jeep and train. Feng Yuan, watching the screen, suddenly felt a chill run down his spine, like something was about to pounce. Just then, the bizarre, crying-faced wooden sculpture in the picture caught the attention of several researchers, who began to examine it curiously. What is this thing? Have we seen this before? It wasn't here a minute ago. Who made this cheap-looking thing? Still, it's solid. Just get it out of here, it's in the way. The researchers quickly lost interest, dismissing it as a shoddy statue, and walked away. The sculpture was now unobserved. Oh, crap. Seeing this, Fury realized the danger and yelled, but it was too late. With shocking speed, the sculpture teleported, snapping the necks of all the researchers within seconds. Nick Fury's face turned grim. Those researchers were S.H.I.E.L.D's top scientists. This was a huge blow. Natasha. Clint. Get a team to the research lab, now. Get your hands on that thing. And don't take your eyes off it. Stare that thing down. Fury barked orders for Natasha and Clint to deal with the sculpture. He turned back to the screen. In a heartbeat, more researchers were dead. The lab transformed into a slaughterhouse. Fury's face darkened. The loss of so many scientists enraged him. They were the lifeblood of S.H.I.E.L.D. How could they develop new weapons without them? That damn monster would pay. Suddenly, the lab security team responded. They grabbed their rifles and aimed them at the sculpture, maintaining eye contact and preventing it from moving, halting the massacre. Fury breathed a sigh of relief. Open fire. A guard gave the order, and the team unleashed a hail of bullets at the sculpture. But the bullets bounced harmlessly off its surface, falling to the ground. Automatic rifles couldn't even scratch the sculpture. What? How is that possible? Fury jumped to his feet. These were state-of-the-art rifles, capable of piercing steel, yet they couldn't even chip the wood. Get the laser cannon in there. We have to destroy that thing. Fury didn't hesitate. The sculpture was too dangerous to be left unchecked. Fury, are you sure about this? Hill asked, sensing a bad omen. I'm positive. That thing needs to disappear. Fury was determined to eliminate the unpredictable threat. The guards in the lab, seeing their bullets were useless, panicked and waited for backup. Moments later, Natasha and Clint arrived with a heavily armed team, all carrying heavy weapons. They quickly organized the team to stand back, using binoculars to keep the sculpture in sight. That's the crying-faced sculpture. Looks pretty creepy up close. Clint took a deep breath. Seeing it in person was much different than on the screen. He raised his bow, arrow nocked, ready to fire. Don't blink. This thing can move at lightning speed and snap our necks. If you need to blink, call it out and take turns. Natasha calmly explained the precautions. The guards exchanged baffled looks. Die if you blink? That sounded like a fairy tale. Just then, two guards wheeled out rocket launchers, squatting and aiming them at the sculpture. These weren't ordinary rocket launchers. They were the result of scientists reverse engineering the Tesseract, firing powerful laser cannons. They could penetrate buildings and destroy tanks, far more powerful than any anti-tank weapon. Fury was confident that the sculpture wouldn't survive a direct hit. Fire! Natasha ordered, and the laser cannons unleashed brilliant beams at the sculpture. Boom! The force of the blast was immense. The light blinded, dust billowed, and the shockwave swept through the lab, throwing furniture around like toys. Fortunately, Natasha's team had retreated just in time. Tony's villa, watching the laser cannon fire, Tony Stark's eyes widened in amazement. Wow! Those are S.H.I.E.L.D. weapons. Those guys are holding out on me. Tony, who always prided himself on his technological superiority, was humbled. It seemed S.H.I.E.L.D. had a few tricks up its sleeve. But I'm more interested in that monster. That level of resilience would make the best armor. As a weapons researcher, Tony Stark soon became very interested in the structure of the crying wood carving. But he remembered his palladium poisoning, and the enthusiasm was instantly extinguished. If this problem is not handled properly, it will be useless no matter how much research he does. No. I must find a way to heal my body. I still have a lot of things to do. Tony Stark, recover immediately. He felt that things would not end like this, and there would definitely be a lot of things to happen later, and he couldn't die yet. First I have to clean up my appearance. Tony Stark finally ignited his passion for life and decided to wash up and then go find Nick Fury, Doraemon World. Doraemon, that laser was awesome. That sculpture's gotta be scrap metal, right? Nobita asked excitedly. As a self-confessed scaredy cat, he didn't want that thing existing. Well. Doraemon put a hand to his mouth, looking uncertain. Something didn't feel right, but he was also confused. No country on Earth should be able to make laser weapons yet. Someone finally developed it decades later. How could someone in the 20th century develop it? Moreover, he checked the Encyclopedia of the Future and found no containment objects. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he would have thought he was being pranked. Did the timeline change? Doraemon started to get nervous. Chapter 6 cannot be destroyed. Develop a counterplan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Leo World. What kind of weapon is that? If we had something like that, taking down aliens and monsters would be a piece of cake. Feng Yuan was hyped looking at the laser cannon. It totally outclassed what Mac was using. Every time the Mac team tangled with those alien invasions and monsters, they got hammered. With a weapon like that, they could shut things down before they got out of hand and save a lot of lives. Feng Yuan grumbled about why the foreign Mac team wasn't already using it. Didn't they know what it was like on the front lines? Zhu Xingtuan was having doubts. He hadn't heard anything about the Mac team working on something like this. It wasn't like there was a S.H.I.E.L.D. Are the Americans playing games? Keeping it secret even from Mac. Zhu Xingtuan wondered if they were pulling a nuclear deterrence trick, using it to try and control the world. That was a no-go. One Piece World. Thousand Sunny. Whoa. Lasers. Luffy was all eyes, completely transfixed. That laser was awesome. Right up his alley. They've got lasers. Is S.H.I.E.L.D. like the Navy headquarters or something? Frankie looked confused. He thought only the Navy had tech like that. That's not good. Could be the Navy's new weapon against pirates. Robin looked worried. Hey. What do we do? We're toast if that thing hits us. Usopp and Chopper freaked out. We dodge, that's what we do. Besides, right now we should be worried about if that monster's actually dead. Zoro, on edge, gripped his sword hilt. Navy headquarters. They've got laser weapons. Sengoku looked shocked. He knew lasers. Kizaru could fire them, and the pacifistas were pretty much built around them, but this mystery organization using them like regular guns. That made Sengoku uneasy. If this was some new toy for the Revolutionary Army or the pirates, it would be a total disaster. Marshal. We can't find squat about S.H.I.E.L.D. A Marine rushed in with the report. Keep digging. They're a serious threat. We can't let them develop further. It could throw the whole world into chaos. Sengoku ordered, determined to uncover S.H.I.E.L.D., no matter what. He couldn't let that kind of power fall into the wrong hands. It belonged with the Navy, on the side of justice. S.H.I.E.L.D. Ha. That's done. That monster's gotta be blown to bits. Get some people on collecting the pieces. Material that tough will be useful. Nick Fury leaned back in his chair, looking relaxed. He already had a plan for what came next. He had total faith in S.H.I.E.L.D's new weapon. And it just got field tested, but the sound of bones crunching on the screen cut his daydream short. In the lab, the security guards at the back were dropping like flies, necks twisted. In seconds, they were all dead. Those in front turned to see the carnage. Scatter. Natasha shouted. Crack. Crack. But as she spoke, more necks snapped. Only then did everyone else start moving, looking for the weeping angel. Clint saw it, a black shadow closing in, hands reaching. He saw the weeping angel. He froze, cold sweat running down his face. Natasha saw it too and her blood ran cold. A second later and Clint would have been gone. She looked at the bodies on the ground, all dead in an instant. The horrifying speed of the killings and the horrific sight of the dead left her stunned. Huff. Huff. The two were frozen, trying to control their breathing, trying not to blink as they stared at the weeping angel. They were terrified. A blink and that thing would be on them. The audience watching was shocked. They hadn't seen anything. How had the weeping angel killed them? Naruto World, Tavern. What are they doing? Don't they know smoke messes up your vision? Naruto jumped up, yelling. The explosion had caused the loss of sight and lead to casualties. Idiot. Shut up. Jiraiya grabbed Naruto, apologized to everyone in the tavern with a smile. What was that weapon they used? That power's way stronger than a lot of ninjutsu. Tsunade was locked on the screen. She knew the power of the weeping angel but was far more curious about the laser cannon. She'd never seen anything like it. I've seen guns when I've traveled around the world, but nothing like that, and those guys seem to be from the West. Jiraiya was serious. He knew the area but not intimately. If that was the power they had, it wasn't good. A clash between the nations could be inevitable. Jiraiya wasn't just being paranoid, he'd seen too many wars and knew to be cautious. Give someone a powerful weapon and they're bound to start testing it. Leo World Feng Yuan stared at the weeping angel, shocked. That weapon couldn't kill it. What kind of alien is that? And you don't just go blowing stuff up with high-powered weapons. Feng Yuan's skin crawled, thinking about how close he was to being blown to smithereens. Zhu Xingtuan looked grim. He had been to a lot of planets but never heard of anything like this. Damn it, what's happening to the universe while I'm stuck here? Frustrated, Zhu Xingtuan smacked his cane on the ground, which scared Feng Yuan. Batman base. Bruce Wayne shook his head. Too reckless. If they know it can't be looked at, they shouldn't bunch up. They should have scattered. Bruce Wayne would have never made the same mistake. He began to mess with the computer. He had begun the process to fight the weeping angel. He collected all of the information to begin the process of the countermeasures. Creatures like that need to be dealt with specifically. And when did the US start making laser cannons? Bruce Wayne worried. The politicians wouldn't keep their hands off it. If it didn't start a war, it would land in the hands of criminals. Bruce Wayne started a brand new document. Laser Weapon Development and Countermeasures Program. Chapter 7 The God of Thunder is not afraid. What are you talking about? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Okay, Dad, this weeping angel is pretty cool. Think I'll bag it and add it to your collection. Besides, this is our turf, and those Earth folks could use a hand. Thor, all bravado, was itching to play the hero. He wasn't worried about some freaky statue. Could it be tougher than his hammer, forged in the heart of a dying star? And this thing only moves when you aren't looking at it. Please. Hold up, Thor. Don't be a knucklehead. Odin wasn't thrilled with Thor's recklessness. He figured they could wait and see if Earth's Ancient One stepped in. While everyone was glued to the screen, Loki was gazing around Asgard, like he was waiting for something. Back on the screen, Nick Fury was freaking out. Nick Fury, crap. How do we ice this thing? Nuke it. Wonder Woman, I wouldn't. That'll just make things worse. Nick Fury, so, what do you suggest, and who are you, anyway? Wonder Woman, you first. But that's not the point. If we can't destroy it, maybe we can lock it up. Nick Fury, lock it up. How do you lock up something like this? Loki, dumbass. You know it moves when you aren't looking, figure it out. Nick Fury, line of sight. We need a 24/7 watch. Everyone shuddered. The idea of someone staring at that thing all the time was unsettling. Even if they rotated shifts, who could guarantee everyone wouldn't blink at the same time and unleash the thing? Bruce Wayne, what about security cameras? If it's line of sight, maybe you can watch it that way. Fury took a deep breath. If he couldn't destroy it, he had to try something. He grabbed his walkie-talkie. Natasha, Clint, figure out how to get that thing to the lab. Natasha wondered how they were supposed to move it without looking away. I'll try to move it. Nat, don't blink. Clint steeled himself and went for it. Ugh. This thing weighs a ton. Clint strained, managing to budge the statue a tiny bit. Natasha spotted a nearby dolly. Keeping her eyes glued to the statue, she grabbed it. Together, they wrestled the statue onto the dolly and began pushing it toward the lab. It was intense. Neither dared to look away. Any urge to blink was fought with everything they had. Finally, they got the weeping angel into the lab and backed out quickly, eyes never leaving it. Meanwhile, Fury and Hill had arrived in the monitoring room, watching the statue on the monitors. They'd seen the earlier mess and weren't taking any chances. Seal the lab and initiate full lockdown. Fury took another deep breath, hoping the cameras would contain it. Clint hit the button, and the lab door slammed shut. Everyone tensed, expecting the statue to teleport out, but nothing happened. The weeping angel remained motionless in the lab. Thanks to the surveillance, the staff in the monitoring room breathed a sigh of relief and momentarily closed their eyes. Then, they instantly knew they'd screwed up and snapped their eyes open. Boom! That a loud crash echoed from the surveillance feed, making their hearts jump. The statue was gone. Son of a bitch. Where'd it go? Who looked away? Fury roared. Director, it's in the corner. Hill pointed at the screen. Everyone stared. The weeping angel was indeed standing in the corner, motionless. Relief washed over them, but no one dared to blink again. How strong is this lab? Fury asked. Director, it's built with space station materials. It can withstand a missile strike. Good. Rotate shifts, keep eyes on that monster at all times. Report before blinking. And get scientists on this thing. Fury barked out orders. The weeping angel's power was frightening. Thankfully, its weakness was obvious and easily exploited. Damn it, who unleashed this thing? Fury was clueless about the statue's origin. He'd ordered a review of the surveillance footage, but it had just appeared without anyone noticing. Was it the screen? Fury raced back to his office and glared at the screen. Was someone responsible? The chat room was buzzing. Naruto, this monster ain't that tough. I'll hit it with shadow clone jutsu and it's done. Loki, you know clone magic. Naruto, it's not magic. It's ninjutsu. Luffy, ninjutsu? Cool. You're a ninja. Naruto, thanks. Bruce Wayne, ninja. Shadow clone. Bruce Wayne was confused. He had joined the most powerful ninja alliance, but he had never heard of a shadow clone. Maybe it's just a cover-up used by two people, and what does Loki mean by magic? Luffy, that monster looks like it could be fun to play with. Chopper, Luffy. Don't be stupid. You'll get yourself killed. Luffy, I'm rubber. I won't break my neck. Chopper, oh, right. Naruto, rubber. What does that mean? Luffy, I'm a rubber man. Even my bones are rubber, I can't break. Bruce Wayne, that's impossible. Humans can't turn into rubber. Luffy, I ate a devil fruit. Everyone was confused. Fonyuan, devil fruit. What's that? Mordo, a devil's fruit. You eat it and turn into rubber. Sounds like a curse. Zoro, it is a curse. You get powers, but you can't swim. Modu, what? No way. Sanji, are you guys hicks? Everyone knows you get devil powers from devil fruits. Where've you been? Thor, what? Devil fruit are disgusting. No one eats those. Sengoku, what are you all babbling about? More important is, what's S.H.I.E.L.D? Are they pirates, or part of the Revolutionary Army? Let me tell you, as long as the Marines are around, you aren't going to do anything in this world. Chapter 8 Ancient One's explanation, we come from different universes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Clinton, you're in the Navy. Where are you from? And what's the Navy got to do with global structure? Why are you talking about revolutionary armies and pirates like they're still around? Usopp, whoa, hold up. You got it all wrong. Being a pirate is every guy's dream. It's not some history thing. Nico Robin, the Revolutionary Army is the world's most wanted. They're starting wars everywhere. How can you not know that? Jiraiya, wait a sec, who dreams of being a pirate? And I've never even heard of a revolutionary army. Nick Fury, this isn't the Dark Ages. Where would a revolutionary army even come from? Warring states, are you kidding me? Nick Fury's face darkened at Sengoku's rude tone. Who talks like that to the Navy? Typical foreign military, always a headache. I can almost wrap my head around the whole pirate thing, but what are devil fruits? Is that some kind of magic? And this, revolutionary army sounds like a bunch of rioters from some third world country. While Nick Fury was lost in thought, his phone rang. It was Tony Stark. Yeah, Stark, what's up? I want to study that weeping face wood sculpture thing. The body armor, I want to know what it's made of. Nick Fury was about to refuse, then he reconsidered. Tony Stark was a top scientist and arms dealer. His research might actually turn up something. Alright, fine. Go ahead. DC World, Batman's base. Bruce Wayne was sifting through information, including the conversations from the screen. Weeping face wood carving, devil fruit, magic, ninjutsu, revolutionary army, none of them know what the others are talking about. As the world's greatest detective, Bruce Wayne sensed something bigger. He was missing a key piece, then, he remembered the screen's initial statement. Different universes. No way. That's the truth. Bruce Wayne stared at the screen, shocked. It all made sense if that were true. Kamatage, Gui breathed a sigh of relief knowing S.H.I.E.L.D. had the crying wooden sculpture contained. If S.H.I.E.L.D. couldn't handle it, she was prepared to step in and send it to the mirror dimension or banish it to another world. Master Gui, what do you make of this? Could that statue-like thing be some kind of demonic curse? Modu asked, puzzled. I've read every book, and I've never encountered anything like a crying-faced wood carving with these abilities. The king added. The multiverse is vast. Our knowledge is a tiny drop in the ocean. There will be things we don't understand. I think I have a grasp of what this screen is about. Gui answered confidently, a hint of sadness in her eyes. Then, an especially aggressive message popped up. Vegeta, is this the weapon you Earthlings rely on? Pathetic. This won't scare us Scions. I could destroy it with a single finger. Go ahead and struggle, Earthlings. This is just the calm before the storm. Vegeta's words left everyone confused. Piccolo responded, Piccolo, Scion, bring it on. I will defeat you. Dragon Ball World. In a wasteland, Piccolo stared intently at the screen, focusing on the wooden crying faces and nearly forgetting about the Scion invasion. Sun Wukong, yeah. I won't let you invade Earth. Vegeta, ha ha ha. Interesting. Show me what you've got. Don't disappoint me. This conversation stunned everyone. Aliens were about to attack Earth. S.H.I.E.L.D. Science. Are they Kree? Get the space station on the line. We need info on any alien activity near Earth. Nick Fury immediately ordered, drawing on his experience with the Kree invasion, Asgard. Heimdall, are there any aliens approaching Earth? Odin demanded. No, sir. Heimdall scanned the Earth. Nothing was approaching. Doraemon's world. Doraemon. There's an alien invasion. What do we do? Nobita panicked, unsure of what to do. Relax, let me check. Huh. Nothing's there. Doraemon used his advanced monitor to scan the universe but found nothing. Is this guy just making stuff up? Leo's world. The stars immediately started checking the radar, but there were no aliens close. But it's best not to be careless, maybe they aren't close yet. Mac team, return to base immediately. Possible alien invasion, not just in case. The stars immediately called everyone back. Gui spoke, Ancient One, everyone, don't panic. This Vegeta is from the Dragon Ball universe. He's not a threat to your worlds. Gui's words only deepened the confusion. Ancient One, look closely at the prefix before your names. Do you see any other words? That everyone examined the screen. There were indeed different words before each name, 7 in total: Marvel, DC, Naruto, One Piece, Doraemon, Ultraman, and Dragon Ball. Ancient One, remember what the screen said at the beginning about different universes? These 7 words are the names of those universes, and the names after them are the people within those universes. Vegeta's name has Dragon Ball in front of it, meaning he's from the Dragon Ball universe. The ones who need to worry about him are Piccolo and Sun Wukong, who also have Dragon Ball prefixes. Some people understood Gui's explanation, but many were still puzzled. Marvel World. Tony, on a plane to S.H.I.E.L.D, stared at the screen. Different universes. The multiverse is real, Tony yelled excitedly, startling the flight attendant. As a brilliant scientist, Tony grasped the concept quicker than most. He had few doubts, only excitement. He couldn't help but wonder, who is this Ancient One? She knows more about the multiverse than I do. S.H.I.E.L.D. Nick Fury frowned, looking like his brain was about to explode. One universe is hard enough to deal with. Now we have to add the multiverse into the mix. This is a headache. This doesn't seem right. Batman's base. Just as I suspected. Bruce Wayne pumped his fist, relieved someone else reached the same conclusion. Who is this Gui? But Bruce Wayne quickly regained his composure and considered, a screen that crosses universes, who could make something like this? It's beyond human capability. Diana's apartment. Diana saw the Ancient One's explanation. As a demigod, she knew about the multiverse. Long ago, a dark monarch had conquered many universes and invaded Earth. Who created this screen? And what's the purpose? Diana wondered, then remembered the words at the top of the screen. Is this a warning? Diana's face grew serious. Chapter 9 Reward Distribution, Razor Mask and Falling Star Pose. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Leo's world. Feng Yuan stared at the star clusters, puzzled. Captain, you really think this Ancient One thing is for real? Zhu Xingtuan paused, thinking for a moment. I once heard the captain mention that there might be universes outside our own. If you can break the speed barrier and outrun the expansion of the universe, you could theoretically jump to another one. Whoa! Outrun the expansion of the universe? Feng Yuan was floored. How could anyone do that? The universe expands faster than light. Even Ultraman couldn't pull that off. If we channeled all the energy from the land of light, maybe it's possible. Zhu Xingtuan's words left Feng Yuan speechless. All the land of light's power could break through the universe. What secrets were hidden in Seven's home that he'd never known about? Zhu Xingtuan ignored Feng Yuan, his gaze fixed on the screen. If this thing really was pulling in viewers from other universes, the power behind it had to be something only a legendary figure like Ultra King could handle. Right now, the captain felt the weight of the situation, facing a terrifying, unknown foe, Doraemon's world. Doraemon, what's all this mean? Nobita looked completely lost. He wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed to begin with. This kind of explanation was enough to melt his brain. Nobita, remember when we went on that space adventure? There isn't just one universe. There are tons of them. Doraemon tried to explain, but Nobita still looked confused. Think of it like the what-if box. It can create parallel universes. There are tons of universes out there that exist on their own. Doraemon rephrased it, and Nobita instantly lit up. Doraemon just sighed, shaking his head, but some people still weren't getting it. Luffy, universe? What's that? Tsunade, never heard of such a thing. Vegeta, don't give me that. There can't be more than one universe. Gui sighed. It seemed some worlds had no concept of the universe, or they just didn't want to believe it, so, he patiently explained. You all know about stars and the sun, right? The vast space that holds the stars and the sun, including the world we live in, is called the universe. And there's more than one. They're next to each other, but you can't travel between them. Navy headquarters. Alright, who here understands this? Akainu asked, a little agitated. Only Vegapunk could probably make sense of it. Get him here, now. Sengoku was stumped and figured only Vegapunk could crack the code. Could it be like a sky island, like there are more sky islands stacked above, creating a true world unknown to us? Kizaru took a sip of hot tea, pondering the idea. Hearing this, Sengoku walked to the window and looked at the sky islands on sky islands. Thinking about it that way, Sengoku suddenly got chills, feeling small in the face of an endless world. Aboard the Thousand Sunny, Luffy, Chopper, Usopp, Zoro, and Brook all looked bewildered, unable to grasp the concept. Sanji kept smoking, trying to process the information. Dr. O'Hara once proposed the idea of a universe. Robin spoke, drawing everyone's attention. The doctor once said that our world is a sphere, and there are other spheres in this sphere, just like the sun and the moon. What holds these things is called the universe. Robin explained, simplifying it as best she could. Naruto's world. Naruto looked at Jiraiya, hoping for an explanation, but Jiraiya didn't know what to say. He was flustered, and couldn't embarrass himself in front of his students. To get out of the situation, he simply avoided looking at him. Could it be like the Pure Land? Tsunade spoke up, taking a swig of sake. The world isn't just what we see. There are other worlds like the Pure Land. Is that what they mean by universe? Jiraiya immediately understood. Oh. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say, but you took the words right out of my mouth. Ha 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 ha. Tsunade just rolled her eyes, shaking her head and looked back at the screen. If that was the case, then things are about to get more complicated. Just then, the cold voice sounded on the screen again. Congratulations on the successful containment of the Weeping Face woodcarving. Rewards will now be distributed based on performance. Main contributors, Natasha Romanoff and Clinton Barton, are awarded the Razor Mask and Falling Star technique respectively. The Razor Mask is one of the ghost masks. It can summon countless ghost soldiers armed with spiked knives. The mask can corrupt the user's will, but has been modified by the system to remove any side effects. The Falling Star style is a bow technique from another world. An arrow transforms into a barrage of meteors. A very effective area of effect attack. The voice faded, and a scary-looking purple mask materialized in Natasha's hand. Meanwhile, Clinton's mind flooded with information, a feeling of change washing over him. What kind of mask is this? Natasha put on the mask, curious. Then, a strange sensation washed over her. Shadows rose from the ground around her, taking the form of black soldiers with sharp claws and glowing red eyes. People nearby screamed, backing away nervously from the shadow soldiers. They had crying wooden sculptures in front of them and shadow monsters behind. What was happening? Natasha, did you summon these? Clinton stared in shock, knocking an arrow, ready to defend himself. Looks like it. Natasha also stared at the clawed shadow soldiers, bewildered. Then, the soldiers all knelt before Natasha, pledging their loyalty. Natasha jumped back, startled. Huh. Natasha noticed that the claws of some of the ghost soldiers had pierced the floor. This was high-grade steel, bullets only left dents. How could they pierce it so easily? These ghost soldiers were anything but simple. Clinton, seeing that the soldiers obeyed Natasha, lowered his guard and tried to process the information flooding his mind. Falling Star technique, an arrow turns into a shooting star. Is this magic? Clinton walked to the window and looked at the sky. He felt an urge to test this falling star thing. He raised his bow and fired an arrow out the window. Crack, star, the arrow shattered the glass and soared into the sky. At first, nothing seemed to happen. No way. Clinton smiled to himself, dismissing it, but the next second, something incredible happened. the arrow exploded into a dozen meteors, plummeting down from the sky, about to slam into the S.H.I.E.L.D. building. Chapter 10. The next contained object, carnivorous vines. You are listening at novelfull.audio. More than a dozen meteors were about to slam into the S.H.I.E.L.D. building. The sight was terrifying. "Oh, crap," Natasha gasped. At that moment, her clawed ghost soldiers seemed to understand what was happening. They melted into the shadows, slipped through the window, reformed, and leaped toward the incoming blasts. Bang, 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 the ghost soldiers sacrificed themselves as shields, intercepting the energy beams. Each impact triggered a powerful explosion. This power. It's stronger than a rocket launcher. Hawkeye stared in disbelief. He couldn't believe he'd unleashed that kind of force. Ugh. The shock wore off, leaving him exhausted. He stumbled, collapsing to his knees, a sharp pain shooting through his arm. A side effect of falling star. Hawkeye instantly understood the price he had paid. Holy cow, what just happened? Did Agent Barton do that? Amazing. Thank goodness for those shadow monsters, but what are they? The office staff gawked, overwhelmed by the unfolding events. Barton, are you okay? Natasha helped Hawkeye to his feet, concern etched on her face. I'm fine, but your little buddies took a beating. Hawkeye glanced guiltily out the window, watching the ghost soldiers dissipate into black smoke. He winced. Reduced to nothing, that was terrifying power. Natasha lowered her head. Even though she just met them, the ghost soldiers were hers. It felt wrong for them to just vanish like that, but then, the black smoke swirling in the air suddenly surged back towards Natasha, coalescing into human forms and kneeling before her. The others gasped. How could they be resurrected after being vaporized? They're just shadows, not alive like we are. Natasha realized what was happening, and pulled off her mask, studying them more closely. This defied logic. Was it magic? Her entire worldview had just been shaken. Natasha. Barton. Get in here, now. Nick Fury stormed in, his face grim. He'd seen everything on the security feed, and he looked like a thundercloud. Both the destructive power and the resilient soldiers warranted immediate discussion. Listen up. The director has ordered all security footage of this incident to be deleted. Anyone who keeps a copy or leaks it knows the consequences. Hill swept her gaze across the room, issuing a stern warning before following Fury. The others exchanged nervous glances, then quickly pretended nothing had happened and dove back into their work. No one noticed a figure surreptitiously uploading two videos, one of the crying face wood carving, and the other of the recent attack. The screen was flooded with comments. Luffy, hey, what's this reward you guys keep mentioning? Naruto, rewards are for completing tasks, right? Like when we ninjas take on missions? Tony Stark, Natasha, you wanted Barton. What exactly did you get? Nick Fury, sorry, that's classified. Can't disclose. Tony Stark, now I'm even more curious. I'm coming by to see it for myself. Nick Fury, whatever. Fury knew the value of Zora's mask and falling star. He wasn't about to reveal them. With those two assets, S.H.I.E.L.D. could protect the world, but what was behind the screen? The ability to materialize objects and grant skills was unsettling. He wondered what other rewards he could earn. This could be a game changer for S.H.I.E.L.D. Kamatage, Gui smiled, waving her fan. It seems the being behind this screen is helping us. What? Mordo looked confused. Gui didn't elaborate, her gaze fixed on the screen. Meanwhile, Xie Yun was celebrating. Containment of crying face wood sculpture successful. Host Xie Yun rewarded with high-speed movement of crying face wood sculpture. A system message popped into Xie Yun's mind. Suddenly, everything around him seemed to slow down. Or maybe he had sped up. Yes, Xie Yun pumped his fist, excited to see what other rewards awaited. Let's go, guys. Everyone do their best to contain more objects. The next contained object is about to appear, carnivorous vines. The announcement grabbed everyone's attention. They were shocked by the sheer number of vines. DC World. Bruce Wayne stared at the screen, stunned. He thought there were maybe 100 contained items, but hundreds of carnivorous vines. Just how many were out there? He began recording everything: carnivorous vine, a climbing plant resembling ivy, with yellow-green rhizomes and purple leaves. Roots sprout approximately every 12 inches, capable of penetrating most porous materials, except metal. Upon detecting a warm-blooded creature nearby, it rapidly grows and attacks, possessing exceptional reproductive capabilities. Hunting method: injection of a paralyzing liquid, followed by dissolution of muscles, internal organs, and organs for absorption. Severed plant parts are considered dead and safe for inspection. However, the rhizome remains viable, regenerating even if chopped or burned. The screen shifted to a peaceful town. Robins were nesting in the trees, creating an idyllic scene. The audience was puzzled. What did this have to do with contained objects? The next moment, 3 thick vines shot out from under the trees, ensnaring the robins. Before the birds could react, they were crushed into pulp and sucked into the vines. Everyone gasped. What kind of plant grew that fast, without water or fertilizer? Passers-by approached, drawn by curiosity, snapping photos. Their actions sealed their fate. The ivy multiplied, splitting into countless vines, grabbing anyone nearby. The victims struggled briefly, then froze, their movements ceasing. A strange liquid oozed from their bodies, drawn into the ivy. Their forms withered, collapsing like paper. After devouring a dozen people, the ivy expanded tenfold. Dozens of thick vines writhed, searching for the next target. Nearby pedestrians, cars, birds, were all targeted by the ivy. Their rapid reproduction and division appeared endless, consuming all life in their path. They could break through earth, stone, even sewer pipes, to reach prey. In less than 10 minutes, the plants grew to the size of a forest.